This week we're doing something a little different. We're heading to the Midwest. We're hunting with Whisky Ridge Hunts. He's got property in northern Missouri and southern Iowa, and Dad and I are itching to get after some Midwest eastern gobblers.
Turkey Hunter is brought to you by Browning, the best there is.
Well, Missouri is an over-the-counter state. Iowa, you have to get lucky enough to draw a tag. Dad drew a tag. We both have over-the-counter Missouri tags, so we're itching to get after these birds. Well, about 9 hours on the road, and we made it to Iowa. That afternoon, Dad and I get our stuff together, and we go scouting to see if we can find a longbeard to put to bed for the next morning. Well, Dad and I decide to hunt Missouri the next morning, so we head to a farm where Tommy's been seeing a lot of gobblers.
We're up here hunting with Tommy now. We're actually watching a piece of ground this afternoon. We're gonna start hunting in the morning. And we just pulled up and we hear owls hooting in the distance. We done heard 2 gobbles, so. But anyway, we're gonna try to pinpoint where this turkey's hanging and hopefully get after him in the morning. There he went. Right there. Yeah, he's up there in that food plot. Let me get out right here.
Well, the next morning, Dad and I head out. We know what we want to do. The only problem is a front come through the night before and the wind was blowing like crazy. There were 45-mile-per-hour gusts. We debated whether or not to go, but we knew there was a turkey there and we wanted to go turkey hunting, so we went turkey hunting. Well, we head close to the area where we heard that bird gobble the evening before, and we just set up. There's a pocket in this big giant cornfield. Looks like a good spot for some turkeys to hang. We post up, put the decoy out, and just sit down. The wind's blowing like crazy.
He's up there in that field.
I get the ceramic out and I start calling. We actually hear a bird gobble, but he's in front of us, about 300 yards. Barely hear him, the wind's blowing so hard. Well, all at once, birds start pitching down into the pocket that we're sitting in. Well, a couple of hens fly down and a couple of jakes. They see the decoy, they kind of start easing their way over to the decoy. This bird that's gobbling is still gobbling in behind them. He's just around the bend in front of us. I keep calling to him, he keeps progressing. All at once I look up, the edge of the bend, and here he comes in full strut. He runs up on these jakes and they commence to fighting right there in front of us. They're all in range. They're just all intertwined. There's no way to get a shot. They end up whooping the gobbler's tail. They hit him 4 or 5 times, send him on his merry way. Not exactly how we had planned the opening morning to go.
Turkey Hunter is also brought to you by Indian Creek Shooting Systems, Midwest Turkey Call Supply, Replica Decoy Company, Apex Ammunition, Strut No More Turkey Totes, Knight's Hunting Products, and Browning Trail Cameras.
Day 2, and Dad and I head to the same area in hopes for a crack at a Missouri bird.
We set up. We got pretty close. We about 250 from the turkey. He's gobbling good. He's been gobbling since we walked in here. So sounds like it could be 2 turkeys. But maybe I can get him fired up and get him over here. We gotta hope that them hens come over here too.
Well, the weather is a lot different this morning. It's actually beautiful. Sun shining. We just can't get a bird to work. We hear birds gobbling. We just can't get one to work. So Dad and I go to a high point where we're hearing this bird just sound off, sound off.
All right. Well, Dad and I slipped around this turkey. We got on the high point. He's gobbled his brains out. He keeps gobbling, but we're going to slip down here to him, try to cut the distance to him, and see if we can't get on his level and get him to come to the call. Let's go.
We circle around the property, and there's a big food plot up there, a big clover plot on top of this hill that drops off into the cornfield we were hunting earlier. We get up top, the bird's hitting, and set the decoy out, and I call, and he just shuts up. I'm like, what's the deal? We give it about 15 minutes, so we just pack up and we start easing to where we heard that bird gobbling. Maybe he, went off that ridge into that big cornfield bottom. We go down into the cornfield, the bottom, cross a little branch that runs through the whole property, get to the cornfield, find us a pretty spot to set our decoys out. The sun's shining right on them. We're in the shade. We get set up, go to calling, and sure enough, a bird gobbles directly in behind us. Next thing I know, he's cut the distance and he's probably 100 yards in behind us. And as he gets closer, I can tell it's more than one turkey. It ends up being 3 gobblers. Only problem is, we're set against the tree and they're coming right in behind us. Well, these birds hang up in behind us, and I'm trying to get them to cross this branch because we're right on the edge of that water and come out to where they could see the decoys. Finally, they start drifting to our left, and I'm thinking maybe they'll walk off or maybe they'll pitch across there, come out and see the decoy. I soft call again. They hit it. This time, they jump across the branch, see the decoy, and start running right to him.
There they go. Yeah. There they go. 3 gobblers, 2 gobblers. One on the right, yeah. That was freaking awesome, wasn't it? I was sitting here thinking to myself, this ain't gonna happen, this ain't gonna happen. And when I started pity peeing and I started that soft yelping, it just tore them up. And they flew across this water right here. There's like it's a ditch that runs this whole property right here, and it's over your boots. So I want to go get him. He had a rope on him. That's my first Missouri bird, and I appreciate that, Dad. That was cool, man. Richard killed him. These Missouri birds are giant, and this thing's got a big old beard, and he's actually got a double beard. And I think it's the same turkey that the Jakes run off yesterday. I'm not positive, but it sure does have all the, he's got the wing pigment in his tail fan and everything. I noticed that when he was coming in yesterday through the binoculars. I could see that right there. And that's the only reason it makes me think that's the turkey. Mid-morning, turkey got hot on this hillside. Dad and I couldn't take it. We made a big circle around him and set up on him, called to him once, and he just shut up. And I actually think it was this turkey. And he met up with 2 other Longbeards somewhere. But anyway, we come back down here. I was disheartened. We come down here, find us a good place to set up. Big oak tree, cedar tree in front of us, good cover. I called really loud on the ceramic series, and these birds hit right in behind us at about 100 yards. I'm like, oh my goodness. And that big oak tree saved us. And there's a ditch in behind us, and it runs around this entire field full of water. Can't get across it without getting your feet wet. And they kind of hung up on the other side of it. And they get to a point and they start putting. And I just keep soft calling, pity peeing. And when I started doing that, it just, something in their head just clicked, and they knew there was a turkey over here. And they go down to our left down the creek here, find them a place to cross. When they cross, they can see Richard. It's all over but the crying then. We turned that frown upside down this morning and got my first Missouri turkey. Daddy's got an Iowa tag, and I think he's got a Missouri tag too. So we got a couple more birds left to chase here, but it worked out. We got a humdinger of a Missouri bird. That was fun. Thank you.
Well, it's crazy sometimes how a turkey hunt unfolds, and in no time I had my first Missouri bird out at the decoy flopping. On the next episode, be sure to catch it because Dad heads to Iowa to fill his Iowa tag.